Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPLGraduates. We are back again, another game week review. Oh, it was a tough week for a lot of FPL managers, but we got through in the end. And Josh, we do have a special guest, don't we, today?
Yeah, we do indeed. It's if you ever tuned into the FPL Wildcats or even an FPL Friday episode, you'd have seen him before. It's Ray. How you doing, mate?
Really good, guys. Thanks for getting me on, man. Always a pleasure.
No worries. It's always a pleasure for us having good insight as our ranks this season. They've been a bit terrible, as you know, Ben.
Yeah, it's improving. I don't think the same can be said about Josh's, but mine is improving. So you know what? Every green arrow we get, we take and grasp with both hands. We've been pretty maverick this season, so you know, let's just hope that we can get some sort of returns over the next 8 weeks we've got left now.
Yeah, not very long left. So we'll get straight into it. So Ben, we'll go with your team first. If I can add it up there. There we go.
Yeah,
should be able to see it on the screen. Pretty solid week for you on your wildcard.
61 points, yeah. I mean, it started off pretty terribly, to be honest. I had Rudiger in there with Mendy, 0 points for Mendy. I mean, no one's really expecting that. I think it was a blip for Chelsea's season, that loss to West Brom. I don't think we'll see a defensive performance like that from them again. And I think, you know, Rudiger is clearly very crucial to Chelsea, as he didn't play and they conceded 5. So he has to play in the next game. Quite happy that he didn't play in that. I mean, the defence, there was 2 clean sheets all weekend. And I left one of them on the bench, of course. Dallas, Shaw and Cresswell, bit disappointing all round. The goal that Man United conceded came from Shaw's side. West Ham, I thought Cresswell was on for, you know, get an attacking return somewhere against Wolves, but he didn't. De Bruyne in midfield, how he didn't get a return this week, it's beyond me. I have no idea. He was phenomenal. I mean, it reminded me of that. Do you remember, when was it? When Mahrez managed to get some bonus points for not even getting an assist. He didn't get any returns, but he got bonus points. That's what his performance reminded me of. He hit the post, hit the bar, you name it, he did it. And yeah, Rafinha, 6 points. Can't complain too much about it. Lucas Moura, again, he came off. He could have had a return, but it just didn't work out. I'm hoping that he does get returns going forwards. He'll definitely be in my team until at least game week 32. Jota with a 12-pointer. I mean, my decision was Jota or Lingard, and Jota got 1 more point than Lingard, so it is a dub for me. Yeah, very happy with that. Jumping on him at 6.6 million, I think it was. I bought him in on. He's already at 6.8 now, so very happy with that. Bruno, disappointing with 5 points, but he was going to hurt my rank if he returned, so less points are better. The Kane captaincy pick, I finally had a captain return, lads. 26 points. We'll take that on a budget. I mean, I was going mental when he scored them 2 goals. DCL up top, how he didn't return either. He missed so many chances, so frustrated. And yeah, on the bench, frustrating Ruben Diaz 6-pointer, but 61 points. It's a green arrow. It could have been massively green if I had the Ruben Diaz in. But, you know, we'll take it. We'll move. And yeah, it is what it is. 61 points isn't too bad at all.
Yeah, it was a good score. You got a green arrow at least. I don't know where Ray's gone. Apparently, he just didn't like your team, Ben, so he decided to leave. But hopefully, he'll be back with us.
Yeah, I mean, might have been a bit jealous, maybe, of 61 points this week.
Maybe, who knows? But yeah, we'll skip on to my team, and hopefully Ray can come back before the end of the stream. I know we were waiting for a bit. So here's my team now. 39 points this week. It's absolute stinker from me. It really couldn't have got much worse. Emi Martinez in goal, 4-pointer, which is kind of good this week, to be fair, given there was only 2 clean sheets across the whole board. He should have kept his clean sheet, though. If it weren't for Tyrone Mings being an absolute fool and just giving Mitrovic the ball, we would be looking at a very nice 11-pointer from Martinez this week, which has been very helpful for my team for sure. Luke Shaw, speaking of Shaw, United conceding that Danny Welbeck goal, and we'll go on to Malpai in a minute, but Malpai didn't even get the assist for it, so it's just an L in my department. Aaron Cresswell, a standard with West Ham, they get a 3-0 lead and they'll just chuck away a few goals to annihilate your clean sheet. Cheers, gang. Christensen comes on for Thiago Silva. I'm thinking, clean sheets in the bag, but it weren't because he came on like 2 minutes too late. And then they go and concede 5. So again, another L. There's a theme here this week. Christensen -1. Aubameyang looks so terrible out on the left. Me and Ray were talking before we went live. He just needs to be played up front. If he doesn't get played up front, he shouldn't get played at all. He's looking disappointing, but I'm obviously going to keep him for Sheffield United and Fulham in the next 2 weeks. Bruno hurts my rank and assist. I don't really count it as a return, to be honest, with Kane and Fernandes because their EOs are so high. There's no point really counting them. Rafinha, the only player to get a return that was actually under 100% effective ownership this week for me. So he's the star man this week. Bale came on for a lovely 2 minutes this week, which was great. Neil Maupay, unlucky not to get the assist for the Welbeck goal. If Welbeck scores it first time without the rebound, it's obviously his assist. I thought he played quite well, to be fair, considering the rest of my team did awful. Harry Kane obviously got those 2 goals in about 5 minutes, which is a lot. I think like 1.8 million people captained him. So a very popular captain shout. And then obviously captain Bamford as well. Didn't go to plan, came off early. It just weren't a good day, good weekend at the office for Josh. No real points on the bench either. A lot of zeros. Stroik didn't play. Gundogan didn't play. And then Ben White got a yellow and obviously conceded 2 goals. So honking week, 125k rank drop. It was not the best, to say the least. So
yeah, Josh, I really feel sorry for you, captain in Bamford. I mean, Captain Bamford.
I think it's like the first time this season, to be fair, that he hasn't returned when I captained him. So if he falls off once, it wasn't as bad as Josh Madger. We shall not forget the 1 pointer last week. So we'll move on and we'll have a look at Ray's team. And now he's back. Are you glad to be back, Ray?
I'm so sorry about that, guys. I'm so unprofessional. Apologies.
No worries at all. I'll get your team up here.
We were just saying that maybe you were jealous of my points this week, is why you.
No, we'll go back. We will track back. Definitely. It felt like a bloodbath for me this week. Everything went wrong. Thank God I captained Kane. Thank goodness I captained Kane. So I bought in Aspie because I'll give my plans in a minute for what I'm doing next week. And it was my kid's birthday, so I was like, yeah, this is standard clean sheet, I'm sure. And the notifications were just coming up like crazy. I was like, is there a typo here? What the hell's going on? So great start. And Willock, Arsenal player, equalising for Newcastle is the worst thing that could have happened to me because then Jose bought on Bale, meaning I missed out on Diaz's 6 points. So it was rough. I think I got away a little bit with a 12k drop. So I'm about 87k at the moment. Antonio going off after like 20 minutes after looking like a beast was just a nightmare for me. So yeah, I mean, thank goodness I got my captain choice because I'm not very good at picking the right captains, to be honest with you. I think I have like a 48% hit rate, which is just trash. Luckily, my other players are doing well. But yeah, I'm on the wild card, so I'm very excited about that. It's like a reset for me, if you like. So yeah, I think I've got like 9 players that I'm taking out this week. Oh no, I've frozen again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
I don't know what's going on, man. Sorry, man.
No worries. Yeah, but it's good week for you, to be fair, because all considering, obviously, a lot of people, I think, didn't really expect. There was just so many goals this week. Like I think Ben mentioned, there was over 1.5 goals in every single game this weekend, which is just crazy. Like you never really see weekends like this before. And I feel for me personally, I get a lot of my points through defensively with my defenders, like the Cresswells, the Luke Shaws. So I feel like that's maybe, as well as the captaincy pick, didn't really go to plan for me this week. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Ben, on the Ray's team?
I mean, yeah, I can see why you're wild carding. I mean, the Antonio injury probably didn't help. There's a couple of players in there that have a fixture swing, right? You got the Villa boys back there, the Leeds lads as well. If you've got 3 of them, you're probably looking to get rid of 2 of them. So yeah, I can see why you would want to hit the wild card now. And like Josh said about the defence, I was very close to going 5 at the back this week.
Wow.
And hoping for a lot of clean sheets. And it would have meant I dropped Jota to the bench. So I definitely dodged a bullet in that regard by I ended up going 3 at the back and just going, you know what, all out attack, see how many goals we can get. And it did work out in the end. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people would have got away with one this week because of the Kane captaincy, and that's myself including. Definitely got away with one. I think I got like 3 or 4 returns in my team. So, yeah, I think Ray's team looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, also, to harp on what you said is, I feel like it's a complete fixture swing as well, isn't it? Like Villa for me aren't an option going forward. Leeds aren't an option for the next few weeks. So, you know, I'm looking to pile into the Chelsea boys with defence. Liverpool, I think I'm probably going to go triple. Spurs, I'm humming and ahhing about Son. But of course, they got the double coming up. And then I'm looking, you know, I'm likely going to have Nacho, but Vardy, I mean, he's got the fixtures. You know, they're not really playing too much at the moment. In regards to, I mean, they're not in Europe anymore, so he's well rested. Maddison's coming back, so Vardy is very much on my radar as well. And so was Cody at one point, but I think with Wolves playing 4-2-3-1, it's just an abomination at the back. So, yeah, lots to go through. Ben, do you still have your wildcard?
I hit it last week, and I got rid of all my Villa players. Just won't completely get rid of the Villa lads. So I was really glad that they conceded. Then, yeah, I've got the Chelsea boys already in. So the fact that I've got 60 points this week just goes to show that even before the fixture swing, I'm looking quite good now. And what I'm trying to target going forwards, if you could show my team again, Josh.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking to do is I've got Lucas Moura in until Gameweek 32 at least for the double. After the double, we're looking to get Lingard in. I'm looking this week to get Dallas out, and I'm 80% certain that my transfer in is going to be Wesley Fofana of Leicester. He's under 1% owned, nailed in that Leicester starting 11. And I was looking at their fixtures, and a lot of people have been going on about Wolves and Liverpool and how fantastic their fixtures are. But Leicester are in the same position as Liverpool and got really good fixtures too. So I'm kind of going to put my chips into
and they have injuries, don't they? Soyuncu's injured as well, so you know Fofana will play.
So it'll be Fofana, Evans, and probably Amity until Soyuncu's back. I think Soyuncu's just got a positive COVID test. I think that's all it is. So he'll be back. Relatively soon. So I think Fofana is the most nailed one, the best option, because he's 5 million, and I think Evans is a bit too much. He's like 5.5, isn't he? So that's why I'm looking there. I'm not convinced, like you said, Bray. Wolves with 4 at the back don't look very defensively solid. You can tell they haven't played that system often. So that's why I've been put off them, especially in that West Ham result. I mean, people were predicting before the game a 1 or 2-0 either way, but to the fact that West Ham opened them up so easily before Antonio came off just puts me off them a bit too much. And in terms of Liverpool, I think great option at the back. I think if you got the money, Trent is a standout. He looked phenomenal last week. And I think Phillips, if he's nailed in that starting 11 at 4 million, is also a really, really good option. So, yeah, I think a lot of people over the wild card in the next few weeks will be looking to see where the value is in that defence.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Liverpool, because we'll talk about them briefly whilst people get their comments in. If you've got a question or anything to ask the boys, make sure you chuck it in the comments down. We'll answer a few before we end, because we all know we want to watch the Champions League tonight. Let's be honest with each other. So, we'll touch on Liverpool quickly, because obviously you mentioned them. Ben, for me, they're probably the team that I'm looking to switch out my players to right now, because they do look really good. I don't know if you saw the game at the weekend, Ray, but how do you think? How do you think they win?
What a drive-by, man. That was a drive-by. That is just harsh. First of all, sorry about the camera, guys. Really, I don't know what's going on.
No worries, man.
Yeah, so about the game, I won't say too much if that's okay. But about the assets, they're 4 really for me. It's Jota, Salah, Nat Phillips, and Trent. I think if you're looking to have Salah, but then of course you want someone like Son, I think it's going to be difficult to get Trent in as well, when I've been kind of messing around a bit. So I think a lot of it is between, do I have Trent and Jota versus Salah and Nat Phillips almost. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have 3 of them, I imagine, but it's quite hard to fit all of them. And I feel like you're almost investing too much. So I think moving forward, absolutely, the Liverpool assets are the guys to have. I think Trent, with him being dropped in the England squad, I think it's going to put a rocket up his arse, personally. I think it's going to drive him. I still don't think he'll be picked for the England squad for the World for the Euros, personally. I don't think he's going to get picked. But I agree with Ben. He looked absolutely brilliant against Arsenal. I think Jota, he could score like 6-7 goals till the rest of the season. And I think Salah, he's so greedy that he's going to want that golden boot. And if Nat Phillips doesn't play, Ben, Josh, then that's okay. He's only 4 million. You know, you're not really missing out a lot. So, yeah, I think it's 3 of those 4 for me personally.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm looking personally getting Trent and Jota in. I think for me, like especially with Jota's price, like I can see him almost matching Salah in terms of output from now to the end of the season. He definitely looks like they're probably their best attacker going forward, in my opinion. And the Trent we saw against Arsenal was like the Trent of old, getting those crosses in. And hopefully they can just keep those clean sheets now. They seemed a lot better since Fabinho's come into the midfield. I know a lot of Liverpool fans were saying that when he goes into midfield, that'll be the sort of the ticking point for them. So I think that's the go-to team right now. If you're looking for transfers and you haven't got anyone in right now, Liverpool are the team. But we'll go into some questions. The baby's asking here, would you back any Villa players after what happened last time against Liverpool? Obviously, they won, what was it, 7-2 at Villa Park. What are we saying, Ben?
I don't trust Dean Smith, in all honesty. I mean, Grealish is meant to have been back for, a month now? Is when he said he was meant to be back. And I mean, if there's any game he's going to come back for, it's probably going to be this one, right? But yeah, I mean, Watkins got a goal, but even before then, a lot of owners I've seen on Twitter weren't happy with how he was performing. So I almost wouldn't. I think Liverpool will step it up a lot more than they did in the reverse fixture. I think Liverpool got a lot more to fight for now, and they simply have to win. Is what they have to do. So I think they'll be a lot more fired up for this than Villa will be. You've also got to consider gaining back form. I think if they win tonight, and then they're going to be really high on confidence, aren't they, going into the next sort of few games in the Premier League. So I'm going to say no, I wouldn't back any Villa assets. I've brought them out already. So just think that, I don't trust Villa now. I just don't.
Yeah, I have to semi-agree with you. I wouldn't necessarily trust them against Liverpool. Liverpool probably one of the most informed teams right now, for sure. And obviously with Emi Martinez, it's interesting because obviously he's been in a lot of people's teams for a long time this season. And I know a lot of people who maybe don't have their wildcard will probably have him still, like myself. I still feel like he can get like those save points like we saw against Fulham. Although he doesn't keep his clean sheet, he gets a 4-pointer, which is not necessarily the worst score in the world. I don't know about what you think, Ray, about maybe those Villa defenders and attackers.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm playing like an idiot. I don't think I'm going to have a Villa guy going forward in my wild card. I couldn't see why. I mean, their fixtures don't look good, do they, in the next bit? So at the moment, I have targets simply because they have West Brom in a few weeks, but I'll be honest with you, until we kind of know when they're going to get their double, because I think that they got a double scheduled, isn't it, soon?
Yeah.
I wouldn't hit into any of them actually. We were talking beforehand about the fixture swing, so I'm thinking that I wouldn't go Villa the baby. If you have them, obviously you're going to play Watkins, but I wouldn't play a defender personally. And even though Emi Martinez has just been a superhero this season, he's not in my wild card, because they're playing some decent teams, aren't they? So I wouldn't risk it.
You got to look at as well. Look at the last 5 Villa fixtures. They have kept 1 clean sheet, and this is the teams they have played in that time have been Sheffield United, Wolves, Newcastle, Spurs, and Fulham, and they've kept 1 clean sheet. You'd think at the start of the season, or even like going into their form and they're doing well, you'd think 4 clean sheets surely, but then just not getting clean sheets even against the teams that are struggling. So,
right,
something you got to consider, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So we'll go through like 2 more questions and then we'll wrap things up because I know it's getting close to the kickoff time. Glenn is asking about the UCL. Obviously, Jesus and Raheem aren't starting tonight. They're playing like a false 9. De Bruyne, Gundogan, those guys are playing. Is it a good idea to bring in Jesus or Sterling for Leeds, or is it a trap again?
Well, Glenn.
Glenn, he can't help it, can he? He just can't help. He loves that poison chalice, isn't it?
I don't know what to say about that. Go for it.
Glenn, hi.
It's like a helpline.
I think it's too much money that you're going to pump into. You know what I mean? It's too much money you're going to pump into possible rotation. It's just too scary to own, for me, a premium City asset. So at the moment, I have Diaz, and if I had another one, I'll probably have Gundogan, knowing that only takes about 12 million of my budget. Or you just have the one in someone like KDB. But I just think they have such a cluster of fixtures coming up, isn't it? Man City, they have so many fixtures, like midweek weekend, that there's no way that he's going to be playing the likes of Jesus. I think it's too risky to have Jesus or Sterling. And you have to remember, Aguero, this is his swan song now. So, he'll be getting games as well. So I'm going to say no, pal. If you're really keen on getting one of the attacking assets, maybe someone like Gundogan or Foden, when you're not plugging too much money in. But it's a trap, buddy. It's a trap. Don't do it.
I've gone kind of against what Ray said, and I've gone De Bruyne and Ruben Diaz. I think they're both the most nailed in that team, to be honest, going forward. And I get what you're saying about the cluster of fixtures, but I have looked into them, and it's like a Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, like Wednesday. There is space in between the games, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm hoping that what that means is De Bruyne gets more minutes, because he hasn't played too much this season, has he? So you got to hope he's a bit fresher than the other players. But I get what you mean. It's just the danger of playing Pep Roulette, and I'm personally ready to get hurt again by it. So I'll take that one on the chin. I know Glenn has had a very, very tough time in recent weeks with Pep Roulette. I mean, he must be on something like 20% of his City assets start per game, over the whole season. So I'd probably steer clear of Sterling and Jesus.
Do you think? I mean, sorry.
No, you go on.
Yeah. I think prior to De Bruyne's injury, there was, including myself, that maybe Man City can't perform when De Bruyne's not playing. But if anything, they have more variety of attacking, I feel. They're not so reliant on him. They have incredible players, but De Bruyne is a jewel, isn't he? That I think Pep can see that, yes, De Bruyne is my best player, but I don't need him necessarily to get those results. And he might want to rest. I see what you're saying. I don't even actually, but I'm making the counter argument that De Bruyne is not needed against Leeds, for example. And he might not even be needed against Man United, because they have so much attacking prowess that I think Pep's going to save him for the really key games. But do I think De Bruyne is going to play against Leeds? Absolutely, because he wants to get the Premier League wrapped up as soon as possible. And I think they're probably only maybe 3 games away from me really having it wrapped up. So, yeah, De Bruyne, but I still find it risky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's going to be it's one of them high risk, high reward situations where you could pump money into these City assets and you can either come away with 2 points or 20 points. There's going to be no in between. And I think that's where the risk lies. And I think if you look at percentage of risk, I think it's much riskier going for someone like Jesus or Sterling than it is going for De Bruyne or Ruben Diaz. I think Diaz is probably the most nailed player in that City starting lineup, bar Edison. So I think Diaz safe option. I agree with you that the 6.5s in midfield are definitely good options because they've got potential to pop off at any given time. There's definitely an argument both ways for having De Bruyne or not, which is why I think his ownership is a lot lower than you'd expect.
I saw a little stat. I think Ben Crellin was talking about it on Twitter yesterday, that City's next 6 games, I think only 2 of them are actually Premier League fixtures. So when you mentioned the cluster of games, that obviously doesn't sound too good if you've got a lot of City assets. And for me, Sterling. I think Sterling this season's been a bit of a letdown anyway, so
Yeah.
I would probably avoid him, especially at his price tag. And Jesus, like you said, Aguero's final season, I think you'll see Aguero probably get quite a few minutes in these Premier League games, considering it's not as meaningful really, because let's be real, they're going to win the league. I think they only need like 11 points to actually mathematically win it. So yeah, I think that's a good idea to stay away from those. We'll go through one more question because obviously we went through that one a little bit long. Casual RI player asks, is Mora for Gundogan a good shout?
Short term, I'd say what I've done is I brought in Lucas Moura myself for that intention of the game week 32 double, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I intend to get rid of him and not have him in my team. So I think for the next 2 game weeks, probably. But after that, I'd probably say in the long term, probably not the best option to go for.
Well, you, Ray?
Yeah, I dabbled with Lucas Moura in my initial drafts. Simply because of that, absolutely. Because if I can't get Son in with Kane, then maybe get Lucas Moura. They got the double in 32, then they got the blank, then they got Sheffield United at home. Mm-hmm. So I imagine you'd keep him for those fixtures. But Jose Mourinho, the way he's playing football, I mean, I'm just not a fan of him anyway. But I really am concerned about the returns of someone like Lucas Moura. I think he's going to play all the minutes, but when Jose's trying to lock down, he almost becomes like a right back, doesn't he? More than actually an attacking asset. So if you have him, which Ben does, I keep him because there's no point getting rid of him because he's going to play all these games. He's going to play against Man U. He'll probably get a return. But I do agree that, yeah, take it for a hit. What I mean, a hit. Just take a hit in regards to that double and then obviously that blank. Maybe just sub him, make sure you have cover somewhere else, and then have him for the home game against Sheffield United. And then I'll just shift him out. After game week 34, I probably wouldn't have him personally.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think he's a good option to have. Whether he's better than Gundogan is interesting. It all depends on whether Gundogan's going to get frequent starts. I saw Pep speaking about Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, those kind of players, that they're not going to play every single game from now on. So it's going to be interesting to see with Gundogan because obviously he's so cheap that you want him in there and you know he can erupt like a De Bruyne. So, yeah.
They're cheap assets around that. Like, there's Lingard, there's Neto, They're still keeping Rafinha because, Leeds aren't going to change their way they play.
Exactly. And Jota as well. Like,
absolutely.
So many
and Jota. So I'd rather not have Gundo and Moura. Like my drafts at the moment.
Go the assured ones, yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe even someone like Mount, who's only like, I think 400,000 or 500,000 more than Moura. So, yeah, I wouldn't go for either, actually.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap up our game week review. Obviously, Kieran mentioned Mason Mount there. I think everyone is probably in agreement here that he's a decent option. One of Chelsea's best players going forward. So do you want to do the honours, Ben?
Yeah, so as always, please like, comment, subscribe. We've left the links to Ray's socials down below in the description. Make sure you go check that out. Some good videos on his YouTube channel at the moment. And as always, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Ray.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.